This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, you're listening to the Power Andy Knowles, formerly of the Pro Wrestling Rewind on ESPN Radio, and you are listening to WrestleView right here on Phoenix 92.5.
First of two comedy tracks this evening. The first one is from Royal Rumble 2001. So my name is Darragh O'Connor and I'm joined by Gary Harden. How things, Gar?
Not bad, Darragh. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Right. So just why did we pick? Well, obviously we threw this out to like audience participation, but why did we hope this one won?
Well, I'm a big Chris Jericho fan, so that's why I hoped it won. And I suppose when we were deciding on which one to pick, the news broke during the week about them acknowledging Chris Benoit finally in the new edition of the WWE Encyclopedia. So we thought it would be a good inclusion, topical enough, and of course rumours that Jericho's coming back to WWE as well soon enough. So it seemed like the right time to do a match like this. Yeah. Just with the current news.
Because we were actually having some problems finding this particular match in collections.
Yeah. I mean, we looked through the Jericho collection, and even I have a Benoit collection there. But luckily enough, I had it on my hard drive through a full collection of pay-per-views from 2001, and of course that's when this pay-per-view is from.
And this was on the original ladder match DVD box set that they released 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they removed it after what happened.
Yeah,
because I have that one that I got in New York.
Yeah, no, I have the original print as well. I just wasn't able to find it in my treasure trove of of wrestling DVDs.
We ran through some technical issues and other bits and pieces, which is very unlike us. But today's been crazy.
I mean, normally we're usually good. We have stuff at hand, but today is one of those days.
But we persevere anyway, you know. But no, I think for me personally, I really like this match. It's one of my favourite ladder matches. It's also my favourite in the Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit series. You know, that it begun, I want to say, the middle of 2000, when the Radicals came in, and then there was like the clash between Jericho and Benoit. They had their 2 out 3 falls match at SummerSlam.
That was a great match.
That was a fantastic match.
Yep.
Then they had like other skirmishes throughout Raw and SmackDown. Had this match. This was kind of like their big blow off.
Yeah.
And then they eventually ended up becoming a tag team later on in this year as well, I want to say.
Yeah, and that actually led towards my actual favourite TLC match.
From SmackDown
Extreme. I absolutely love that TLC match.
That's a great TLC match. It doesn't get enough love.
I mean, and that was the one where Benoit injured his neck.
That's
as
true.
well.
That's true.
But yeah, a fantastic match. But I think it's one of those matches that's very much overlooked because of its predecessors and the fact that it was on free TV.
You know, for the longest time, only from doing this show that I actually realised a lot of people don't even know what SmackDown Extreme is or was, because they only did it once.
Yeah, I mean, and that was one of my favourite all-time episodes of SmackDown.
It's online.
Is it?
It's online. You can actually see it. It's on a specific website, which I'll show you later on.
Yeah.
And you can actually go, and I've rewatched it recently, and it is one of those shows where you remember it being better than it was.
Okay.
But because it's so different and weird, you're like, okay, actually, this is pretty cool. Like, they had the old set, it had everything crossed out, and it was just kind of strange.
I mean, I think it's one of those things, and I mean, particularly, you know, nowadays watching wrestling, when you kind of look back and there is a level of rose-tinted glasses to it.
But particularly with the Attitude Era.
Yeah, particularly with the Attitude Era. But, like, I remember watching that, and it was... Like, it was so different from anything that I'd seen.
Well, to put this into context, Gar, we were basically, you know, children still watching it on Saturday morning, and then you're like, okay, SmackDown, and then it's like, oh, what's
what's
this?
this? Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah, I
just
mean,
strange.
and that's it. Like, I think it was definitely for us. You know the way they always say nostalgia plays a huge part
Oh, yeah,
in
definitely.
wrestling. Like, looking back on that, it's a real nostalgic time because, like, we would have been, what, 11, 12?
No more than 12. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
easy.
well, I've got a couple of years on you.
That's true. Yeah.
Just a few. And so, like, yeah.
I was
so-
10 anyway.
Yeah, so
was
I'd
10
say
around.
I was probably 12, just
Yeah.
turned 12.
Yeah.
And, like, it was crazy because, like, we hadn't been really exposed to ECW. And that's what it was kind of like.
That's
like
what it was.
in
It did kind of look like it as well because
Yeah.
it is a lot more grungy than you expect.
Yeah.
But grungy to children who
Yeah.
are used to watching the WWE rather than, you know.
which is a very sleek product.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah. But it's just the little things really made up for it. And then the fact we were getting pay-per-view quality matches
Yeah.
like the TLC match where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, they don't normally do this. This is kind of weird. And then, of course, they threw the baby out of the bathwater a few years later when Ric Flair was in TLC matches with Edge and stuff
That
like
was
that.
actually
But
an alright match.
it was, but it took
Alright.
away the
The
sleek-
luster of the yeah.
Anyway, so guys, you know the drill right now. We're going to do 2 in this edition of the Rescue International Desk because this is a full show that's going up. So we're doing basically 2 shows this week.
Yep.
And
Look at you,
definitely,
listener.
yeah. Well, you know,
fair listener.
a fair listener, that's it. But the first one, you know, you guys know the trick. Get your DVD, if you have the WWE Network, sync it up, and we have very helpfully with Chris Jericho's help.
Yes, God bless Chris Jericho.
He
Why
has a
we
ca-
love him. He has a countdown.
He's a countdown. He invented countdowns.
Yep.
And yes, so where we have started it, Chris Jericho's Titantron is up there. It's at Y2J 5. So, you
Yep.
know, no drill.
We're
That's
gonna let it go.
Okay, here we go.
We go.
Okay, so
4, 3, 2, 1. I used to love this pyro, just the loud bang, and Jericho come out.
It was
Savage.
awesome.
Unreal.
you know, although one thing about pyro, from going to wrestling shows now,
Yeah.
you don't understand how loud it is and how much it scares the hell out of you the first time.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember going to see Kane. Well, no, not going to see Kane, but I went to my first WWE house show. Kane was there and did the
Yeah.
pyro. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Like even say last week when I was over in London, and on the Wednesday, or sorry, on the Tuesday for SmackDown and main event,
Yeah.
a main event was on first, and like we don't get main event over here, so
No. You have to go online.
you have to go
basically watch
online
it.
to get it, and like I mean, it would have to be like a pretty good match for me to go and get it.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, I wonder is there pyro for main, and then the pyro went off, and I was like, oh my god, it was pretty cool pyro. Like it went up at an angle. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like the actual taping shows as well. Like when we start going to them, it was shocking
Oh yeah, like
the first time because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is going to be a big deal, and it actually
It
is.
yeah. And like it's quite loud, and then even say Kane, like you can feel the heat. Like remember
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were ringside
You're
for
just like,
SmackDown?
Oh my
I was
god.
like, jeez, that was a blast of heat.
Yeah, and I always wonder what the lads think. You know, the actual wrestlers themselves. They're
Or
just like, they have to
even, like-
stand there.
Or even like the ref, you know, who's standing there like for Kane's pyro.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to get back to the match.
Okay, so
Benoit's out now.
Jericho's come out and Benoit's walked out. I have to say, Jericho looks awesome with the beard.
Yeah.
He has an awesome heel beard.
Okay.
Who was
so
working heel in this guy? I don't remember.
I think Benoit was working heel as far as I can remember.
Right.
Oh, Jericho,
Spinning
big
elbow.
spinning elbow, and a clothesline.
And they're not wasting any time in this. The referee's on the outside. I think it's Tim White who's on the outside.
I'm not sure. I didn't see.
Because like obviously the rules of a ladder match, you get up the top and you have to get the belt, and this
That's
is for the IC Championship.
Yeah, fairly straightforward. Yeah, it is Tim White.
I miss Tim White.
Referee Tim White.
One of my favorite referee of all time, actually, next to Black Ref.
Oh yeah, Black Ref's good. Attempted crippler crossface.
Actually,
not happening.
can I say in that weird dream I had last night, which was bizarre? It actually involved Ric Flair was walking down the ring with
strutting.
was walking down the road with
Attempted walls of Jericho from Jericho blocked.
Lil Nate, and Lil
Okay.
Nate had the world heavyweight title for some reason.
Because
And I was like, that's bizarre. So guys, don't eat cheese before bed. You get really weird dreams. But yeah, okay. Oh, straight into the corner.
into the ring post
Into the ring post. yeah.
from Benoit sending Jericho into the ring post, grabbing Chris Jericho's lovely long hair. God, remember that? I remember I wanted to have long hair like Jericho.
One of the reasons I still have long hair. No, it's Triple H all the way. But
Body slam.
well, he's
Jer-
building up
oh,
for the body slam.
Oh, reverse into a shoulder breaker.
Shoulder breaker into the thigh. And when you go back and watch these matches, it's kind of weird because like some guy looks like Stevie Richards.
Stevie Richards in the
That's
crowd.
awesome. Stevie Richards, actually Chris Benoit, Stevie Richards.
It's foreshadowing.
That's it. It really is. Okay, so into the ropes.
Oh,
Oof, nice.
diving forearm from Jericho.
Benoit rolls out to the outside.
And onto the apron.
And if yet to off the top, misses straight onto the outside.
Crossbody. Missed the crossbody.
All the way on. Okay, so when you're watching this product, it's really weird to actually, okay, it was said to me a long time ago, when you play games from your childhood, you remember them as they are now. And I think the same thing happens with wrestling. When you watch wrestling in its original form, you kind of remember it with a HD viewpoint.
Yeah.
So we're watching this, basically the original pay-per-view stream or the original DVD stream.
Rip, yeah.
And it's straight into the corner. And it does look dated to a certain...
It does, yeah, especially like nowadays with the, with HD.
Definitely.
And things like that. Okay, so Benoit's gone to get the ladder.
So the ladder's in play. Only one ladder now so far. Yeah, Jericho's gone back into the ring.
And that's a point to make about this match. Like, the TLC matches, I think one of the TLC matches
had already happened.
And like the Terry Invitational Tournament ladder match between Edge and Christian
that is
and the
3
Hardy
years
Boys.
old at this point.
Yeah, and so ladder matches had very much, changed into a very, high risk, high spectacle match. I think we all have the same visions of Jeff Hardy doing the swanton off that giant ladder in the runway,
or even Edge,
Edge
later on this year doing the spear.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can recall those, but this match was very much a kind of old school ladder match in the way, say Razor and Shawn's ladder match, or even going further back to say Brett and Shawn's
definitely
ladder match, very old school, where it was just the one ladder. And
it's one of those matches where the two guys, they're not trying to put on a show, they're beating the hell out of each other, and it just so happens to have a ladder in it.
Yeah, and that's the goal, to debilitate your opponent so much that you can climb up said ladder. And
remember, the whole point of this feud, and obviously Jericho and Benoit were really good friends in real life, which really works so well together.
Jericho using the ladder
straight into the face,
into Benoit's face,
and an unprotected face shot as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I suppose that's one of the things when you go back and watch Benoit matches.
He works very, very hard.
He worked very, very hard, and of course, what happened, you're kind of like, oh man, maybe if he didn't work so stiff, shall we say? Yes, it would have been into the corner. Stiff being a good word. That maybe things might have played out a little bit differently.
Okay, so Jericho has the ladder and he's going to attempt to drive it in, and he does straight into the midsection. Benoit goes down. Jericho is, known for his showboating, and he's setting up the ladder now into the corner on top of the ring post, which is not going to end very well. I hate some of these matches sometimes when they set up a spot that just will never work.
Yeah, or like when they set up a spot and it's so obvious,
what's going to happen. Yeah,
and I suppose definitely with, say, the TLC matches, it became kind of okay. Yeah,
it became comical.
Go through that table.
Yeah, it's like they don't set up, and
or if 4 tables stacked high. Big spill.
Well, that's something that Drew and 3MB actually picked up on at Extreme Rules. They really took the piss out of it by setting up ridiculous spots.
And like just the whole thing of the little tables as well.
Oh my God, Jericho just flattened.
So
Benoit
did his
flying headbutt,
headbutt through the ropes, and Jericho managed to pick up a chair, which I think was under the ring, and leveled Benoit once again. I mean, his hands were up, but it's slightly unprotected.
Okay, so
we'll see the replay. So Benoit reversed Jericho into the ladder that was propped up on the apron. Jericho spilled to the outside, and then he had the hands up. He had his hands up,
but it kind of flashed back anyway. It wasn't fun anyway, guys. Let's put it that way. I would not like to get
not a nice way to spend a Sunday evening.
No, definitely not. But it's also one of the old school blue chairs. I miss the blue chairs. They were great. I don't know what it is. It's
the blue cage, the blue chair.
It was a better time.
It was a simpler time.
Okay, so Jericho's going for the suplex onto the barricade.
Yeah.
He's really working that midsection. I think that's what they're trying to tell here.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose that was another good thing about people of Benoit and Jericho's ilk, is that even with a ladder match that was, a spectacle-driven match. Big spill. Jericho had the ladder set up and he was going to flatten Benoit.
That's another spot that just makes no sense to me.
Who was laying out on the barricade.
Jericho checking if he has colour.
Yeah, and Benoit moved, so Jericho sprung off. But yeah, no, sorry, my point was that even though like it is a gimmick match, those involved are still professional wrestlers.
Exactly, they're still telling a story.
Yes, and they're professional wrestlers in the sense of, you know, actual professional wrestlers.
Exactly.
Not like in the way that, you know, John Cena's a professional wrestler.
That's a good point. You know,
Yeah.
and that's okay, so Benoit's going, he's working that back, something fierce with that chair. There's one thing here about this match, you know, as you said, Gar, they're professional wrestlers as fact. They understand selling, they understand getting across that this actually hurts psychology, why they're doing what they're doing. And it's a feature of Benoit and Jericho matches where they'd actually work the ribs. Sometimes Jericho would get injured, and maybe it's callback from that feud in SummerSlam 2000. I can't believe I'm remembering all of this. It's so ingrained into my head.
But yeah, but I mean, I suppose that's one of the things like I would look for as a wrestling fan, you know, some type of continuity, like within a feud, a bridge. But like even still, something like a ladder match. Okay, what's the best way you're going to win a ladder match? I suppose either take someone's legs or take someone's wind out of them.
Exactly.
And that's what Jericho's doing with Benoit. He's trying to take the wind out of him, so that's why he keeps going back to the midsection. And it just it makes sense.
And Benoit seems to be working the head a lot more on the shoulder.
And the shoulder area, like early on in the match he had that big shoulder breaker, and now he just
drove the shoulder into the ladder. Because remember, you know, Jericho's big thing is the walls of Jericho. We can't really do the walls of Jericho if obviously you're bleeding from like a stuck pig, or if your shoulder's gone, you're not going to be able to get the torque. And Benoit won't be able to climb the ladder or do any of his major offense if he's not able to support you.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Jericho reversed, slinked down the back and pushed him straight into the ladder that was set up. Drop kick to the head.
And this hasn't broken down into like a brawl yet. It's still very much technical wrestling.
Like, I mean, you could get rid of the ladder and it's still a straightforward Benoit and Jericho match. You know?
It's something that I miss nowadays, Gar. When you involve weapons, they seem to rely almost as a crutch, and sometimes in cases they actually use a crutch, you know, to build their match across. But they're incorporating it in, and it works. Yeah.
Okay. So Jericho's just set Benoit up kind of through the ladder, and he's doing a Russian leg sweep.
Oh man! And his knee and leg is caught to that, and you know, if he wasn't wearing some kind of leg brace or you know, that can break a leg.
Exactly, like falling that far, like he was on the top rope. But once again, tying into the psychology, now he's going after the leg.
Yeah.
He went for the wind and now going for the leg. So it's all building up towards, you know, a smart story that, you know, in as you say, these types of gimmick matches we don't really see too much anymore because they're so reliant on the gimmick being used, the hardware being used, I suppose. Benoit dropkick the ladder that was in Jericho's hands, and it looks like Jericho once again checking for colour. Not sure if he has any as of yet.
Sorry, go on.
Who was the champion going into this?
I think Benoit was the champion.
Yeah, I've been trying to recall.
Because I did see a little flash on the side.
High angle back by
you know, we were talking about this last time we did our commentary tracks, that the reason why the hardcore division was so good was because you had guys like this who could work the hardcore style.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because they were still working matches, but will just adapt to the match quality instead of the match genre dictating the outcome of the match.
Yes, true.
You know, I think that's what the guys don't understand nowadays. It's like, okay, we're going to work a Hell in a Cell match. No, work a good match, but incorporate the Hell in a Cell. Oh, straight into the ladder. Man,
Yeah,
the amount of headshots in this, it's unbelievable. It's actually disturbing, and it's kind of, it speaks to how we're conditioned nowadays to not want that.
Yeah, precisely. So Benoit actually set that ladder up and
ended up eating it.
And ended up eating it, but much like earlier on in the match,
Jericho did it.
When Jericho did it, like Jericho set it up, and
he just kind of used the ladder like a springboard.
Yeah,
and didn't bust open. I was going to say later, a couple of years later on, Jerry Mercury would get busted open, very similar spot.
Man, that was one of the most severe spots I think I've ever seen.
So wrong, I bought that DVD just for that spot.
It's on the ladder match too, I think. So, yeah,
it is.
Slingshotted the ladder into Benoit's face. and
Oh,
then
man.
a drop kick.
Drop
Now you
kick.
see they're starting to use the ladder a little bit more as a weapon, but once again, still makes sense within the context of the match.
Well, they're at the go home spot now. Anyway, you know they've been in there for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes or so now.
Yeah, 10 minutes or so. So they're starting to kind of get a bit antsy, and I think Jericho's getting ready to actually go up the ladder now and attempt the first grab at the belt, as it were.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, like the match is about 10 minutes old at this
Yeah.
stage. And this is the first time that they've attempted to climb up.
How many matches have we seen, particularly with one John Cena who does one move and then goes compare it to Randy Orton and John Cena, where
Yeah,
they did one spot and then we're up there.
it was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
So Benoit just took Jericho's back and dumped him straight out over the top rope.
But the ladder's still set up. Benoit's on the inside, Jericho's on the outside, but they're both still down.
Yes.
So basically, I'm sure if the commentators were doing this, to be like, oh, whoever gets to the first has the advantage.
Yeah, or Benoit has the advantage because he's in the ring.
Exactly.
So he's got the better positioning.
Have to say, one of my favorite Royal Rumble events. This was just a stack card all the way.
It was. I mean, this was a great card. Like, this card opened up with the Dudleys against Edge and Christian. It had this match. It had quite possibly the best Royal Rumble match,
Which we will pencil in for next year.
Yes, I
Definitely.
think that has to be the one we do next year. Okay, so Benoit's climbing up.
He's
Jericho's
on top
gone
of the
in.
ladder right now.
Yeah, Jericho's gone in. Benoit's kicked him back down, but Jericho's making another run. Benoit turned around and was facing Jericho. Jericho has now
Has the
pushed
legs.
him back over the angle of the ladder.
And now
is
he's
doing-
setting up for probably why this match is really famous. It's
Yeah.
a wall to Jericho.
on
the
the
ladder.
Yeah, I mean, and to be included in every WWF game afterwards.
Exactly. It's kind of like when RVD debuted later on. The Van Daminator was in every
Yeah.
WWE game also. Okay, so he just kicked him off.
Yeah, pushed him back off the ladder. So now Jericho is Benoit
touched the belt and then got flung off.
Yeah, Benoit kicked the ladder over from where he was positioned in the ring. I mean, a super clever spot to do the walls of Jericho on the ladder.
It just kind of emphasizes.
Oh, they have the Wile E. Coyote cam.
Man, I love this cam. It's awesome. That's a long way to fall.
That
Like,
is
I'm
a long way
sorry.
to fall. Like,
Particularly backwards.
and that was like a safe enough fall for Benoit, and it's still super far. Like,
But that's what, particularly when we were watching this as kids, if you're used to watching WCW and those guys used a smaller ring,
yeah,
when you saw how big the WWE ring is from that angle, it opened things up. Like your
Oh,
world
it did,
expanded. It
yeah.
was crazy. Oh, man, he just hit him with the ladder again.
yeah,
Jericho's
Jericho.
down. These guys are pretty tired already. They
Yeah,
have
it's
done
been a
well.
pretty physical match so far.
Jericho would have kicked to the head. And now he's going to the top, but Benoit's straight back up as you would expect, but just a mere kick to the head. So Jericho still fighting.
Still fighting Benoit off.
Oh, what a nice catch going into crippler crossface.
There we go. Yeah, missed
And
the
Jericho was tapping.
diving forearm, and Benoit did the sidestep and very fluid movement.
Definitely. These guys knew each other so well.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
could just do something like that.
yeah, like these guys worked together in Japan and then in
WCW,
and
ECW, all that kind of
So
stuff. They just for
It
years.
became kind of second nature to them, and that's why their matches were so good.
But here's the thing, Gar. We've already seen the Walls of Jericho and we've seen the crippler crossface. The danger of only having those two submission holds as your finisher basically is probably what held these guys back from reaching the top potential, and it's something that Jericho touches on in his book, and that's why he got the code breaker,
and the
line salt and stuff like that. And Benoit thrived without even adapting his style that much, but you can see why in this match they weren't hitting a big spot that would end the match, like a pedigree or a powerbomb or chokeslam or something like that. So what do you think about that, guy? Do you think maybe that was a reason? 'Cause it's something that strikes me watching this again.
I don't think so. I suppose if you compare it to modern day wrestling, I think everybody has one of each.
Yeah,
Everybody
definitely.
has one good submission move, and then
One submission move.
one submission move, and well, I was thinking Daniel Bryan should have a few submission moves, and
That's true.
but likewise he has the knee plus now as well.
Or the move that beat John Cena.
Yeah, or the kick that Alberto Del Rio won the title with, and he has the cross arm breaker, and
It's true.
and Cena has the AA and the STFU. So I think nowadays it's more common. I say Undertaker with the Hell's Gate and the Tombstone.
Exactly, and the last ride as well he introduced around this time, so it was where everybody, they would come from a WCW or even from the Attitude Era and have to kind of upgrade a little bit to work with the newer guys and make a better stuff.
Okay, I'll get back to this point now. We have a big spot now. The ladder's set up in the corner. Benoit's knocked Jericho off the ladder, and he looks like he's setting up for the diving headbutt, and he misses.
Well, Jericho moves out of the way.
Jericho moves, Benoit misses.
He's convulsing in the ring right now.
Yeah, and once again, knowing what we know now,
we
kind of hope he wouldn't have taken
as many of those moves.
Yes, a move like that. I mean, I always
something
remember
that Daniel Bryan does though, man, all the time.
True. I always remember the one he did against Angle in the cage, off the cage, and he missed. Years
were taken off both of those men's lives.
Yeah.
From matches like that.
Okay, so he has
very smart here.
The ladder set up under Benoit, but Benoit powers out and sends Jericho straight into the rope. So back to the point about the finishers and did it hold him back. I don't think so. It shouldn't anyway. I've always thought submission finishers are super cool.
I love them as well. I really do.
I think there's a place for both, and yes, you have to adapt your style, like Jericho did in introducing the code breaker. And I suppose when we talk about finishing moves, the whole idea of having like a really great finishing move is that, I mean, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, the RKO." It could come from out of nowhere,
like the stunner.
Yeah,
and the diamond cutter, which is the RKO. But you know what I mean. But Jericho has the chair. Benoit's up on top, and he is just welling him over.
And
kick to the head.
Stiff kick to the head.
Jericho comes off the ropes, knocks Benoit down. Benoit goes over on the outside. That's it. Benoit's down. Jericho's up. Well, he's not up, but he will be.
But he's close. He's more up than Benoit.
Yeah, Benoit has he's actually been knocked out to the seats basically.
Yeah. So yeah, back to the finisher thing. I don't know, the code breaker, and the code breaker is super cool because that was a move that could be hit from anywhere. Like, even remember the cage match that he had with awesome. Edge, and
off the corner.
Edge tried to jump they do a spear from the top rope, and Jericho caught him. And I suppose that's the whole idea of having a move that's versatile, but I don't think it held him back.
So Benoit is on the outside, can't get in, and Jericho grabs the belt.
Retrieves the belt.
Can I just say, the ending of that match was very contrived. Like, it's a great match, Gar, but just there, like, Benoit, it looks fake. Like, that's to say, the ending of that match looks fake. Like, can we replay it again, Gar?
I'm sure they'll show the replay now, but if they don't, I'll go back.
So Jericho is celebrating here, but
with referee Tim White.
Exactly.
Senior official.
Senior official Tim White. Wendy told us the names and then didn't tell us the names for 2 years.
That was ridiculous. I was like, we know it. It's Mike Chioda.
Exactly.
We know it's Mike. We know it's Little H.
Y2J plus ladder, another missed opportunity. Is that
another tooth missing.
Okay, fair enough.
Shot at the crowd, Y2J signs, old school.
Man, old school Attitude Era t-shirts, and that woman needs a sports bra. Those boobs were flying. Not in a good way either. Anyway, so I don't think we're going to get a replay, will we?
Oh, we should do. They're bound to do a replay.
Because, like, I love this match all the way up until that point, and then, like, here we go. Okay, so
these are highlights.
So they're going to the highlights, right? So Jericho with the chair shot, which was a very good spot.
The diving planche outside. Okay, this is it now. Jericho sending Benoit spilling outside.
Which was a good spot, makes sense. Benoit's down, Jericho goes up to the top. Okay, so here it is here, right? Benoit's on the outside. He can't get it and then falls down for some reason. And Jericho just grabs the belt and pulls it down. Like, okay, I understand maybe they were selling that it was such a punishing match that Benoit just couldn't get up. What do you think, Gar? Like, but to me, it was just kind of cheap.
I don't know. I think we're used to over-the-top finishes for ladder matches, and that's a fairly straightforward one.
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's contrived. I mean, it's contrived now in 2014.
But back then,
when we've had 13 years worth of other ladder matches.
Right.
No.
So where would this match rate on your scale, Gar? Is it still as good as you remember, or has the sheen kind of gone off a couple of years later?
I'd say the sheen's probably gone off it because you can't talk about Benoit matches without some of the sheen been taken off.
Particularly with the headshots in this match as well.
Like the diving headbutt off the top was...
And the chair shots.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put a pin in it there and kind of reset for our next commentary track. So we'll talk to you in a minute.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darragh O'Connor on the
Second commentary track. Garrett, explain to us why we have to not do the empty arena match and we have to go and do another match instead. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. This is podcasted, isn't it? So I can curse. My internet is fucking shit. That's why we can't do it.
And it's not on any DVDs, which is messed up, WWE. What the crack?
Yeah, apparently I was reading...
What is the crack?
What is the crack?
What is the crack there?
Thou is the crack. I was on a forum because we were trying to find out what DVD it's on, and apparently it's on the 50 greatest matches or something, but the editing of it is terrible. So maybe that's why they omitted it from other releases, because it was too bad or too difficult to edit. I don't know. But we will find it.
We will find it, and it's going on the list.
Yes,
it's going
eventually.
On the list. Okay, so what we've decided to do is, keep the Royal Rumble team, and we're going to go with the I Quit match from Royal Rumble 1999.
Which was actually the first choice for people until Connor ruined it and said, "Oh, you should do the empty arena match."
That's true. That's true. And we're joined by Connor, and we're joined by Chris. So they're going to jump in from time to time with their comments also. So guys, boot up the Royal Rumble 1999, and we will take a brief pause because this is split into two. So when that happens, please bear with us. So right now, The Rock is just about to come out. So here we go. And it's the cool, set that they used for WrestleMania as well.
Yeah,
they use it for loads of pay-per-views at this point. So The Rock is just walking out now. You can see his Samoan moves covered by that sheet thing, basically. And that's something that
street clothes as well.
It's not really street clothes. Like, who walks around like that?
Well, The Rock does. Those are The Rock's street clothes.
And this is like, in other matches he wore the tracksuit bottoms made a huge appearance around this time as well.
Like Triple H as well.
Like Triple H also. But why did The Rock have to do this, Gar?
Because it was an I Quit match, and it was set up to be a hardcore match.
But the real reason.
And to cover his Samoan nipples.
That's true, which he actually got surgery to replace, basically. Alright. Is that what it was?
That's the technical term.
Oh man. Yeah, so okay, this is, I want to say, the second in their feud, as far as like the second or third. When was Rock Bottom?
Well, no, it's the third, because they had the Survivor Series match, which was Deadly Game.
Which started everything off.
Hashtag Deadly Game.
Hashtag Deadly Game.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
And that was when Mankind was screwed out of the title. It looked like Vince was going to have him be the champ, and then it turned out Rock was the corporate champ.
To be the corporate champ, and that's where you get the Mick Foley shirt and all that stuff.
And then they had the match at Rock Bottom.
Right, which I've actually never seen that match.
Which would have been December. I don't think, if I can recall correctly, that match actually started. I think it was like they just started beating the crap out of each other.
I will watch that match soon.
But yeah, so and then it leads to this, which is the I Quit match.
Right, and then after this, they'd have the halftime heat match, and then they'd have the last man standing match. There was, yeah, but pay-per-view quality wise, they went into that. Okay,
so Foley's out.
Yeah, I really like the setup actually for Royal Rumble 1999. It was pretty cool. It was in California.
Great title belt as well.
Very well. It is blurred out in this one. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
So they're showing what happened on Heat earlier tonight. Okay, so I miss Heat when it was in the actual arena beforehand, and that's what WWE should do rather than the pre-show thing. Bring back Heat.
Oy, big Vis. Oh no! Well, he was still Mabel.
Yeah,
now,
he's not
he?
Viscera.
He wasn't taken by Undertaker.
That would happen later on in the night.
Later in the night. And refer back to our podcast where we. Why did we pick that Royal Rumble?
I don't know. It was just Russo-rific. That's what it was. Who's on Twitter now, and he will defend everything.
Yep.
And people will stick up for him, which is bizarre.
Fools.
The internet. It's a strange place. All right.
Everyone has their fans.
Even Vince Russo. Okay.
I like Russo. Just
yeah, I like bits of what he does.
No, you read his books and you're like...
That's true. You read his books and you're like, oh, he's a good guy. He's an alright guy.
Okay, they've started.
Okay, right. So this match actually had a bit more downtime prior to the match rather than the Chris Jericho Benoit thing, which was bang off the gates,
Yep.
Right, so Mankind throws him into the ring post and is teeing off on The Rock, and The Rock doing his awful selling, which I thought he was having a spaz attack when I was a kid. I was like, what's wrong with The Rock?
I don't know. Saying that he always sold the stunner the best.
He oversold the Stunner though.
No, he thought the best was amazing.
Yep.
With the
flip
flip back and. No, Chris, The Rock is not a legend. The Rock is horrible. I don't like The Rock. I've never liked The Rock at any point in time.
You like Triple H?
Yeah, Triple H is class. Hey, he had the best tweet prior to Payback ever. It was amazing.
What a punch.
Look, hold on.
He is electrifying.
Triple H tweets in Latin. That's fantastic. All right. Anyway. Perfect Latin.
Oh, Scotty Too Hotty Bulldog.
The only reason you like Triple H is because he uses correct Latin.
That's true.
Per Latin, you would not like him.
Yes.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay, so this is an I Quit match, and Mick Foley obviously has the mic, and he has to make The Rock say I quit.
Yep.
That's basically the nuts and bolts of this match. And why did this actually end up as an I Quit match? They did a whole video package beforehand where basically they had to say that Mick Foley never actually said I quit. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that was the whole setup for it, and that like they'd had the Deadly Game match.
Yeah.
And the brawl at Rock Bottom as well, and they kind of needed
A definitive win.
not so much a non-sanctioned match, but a match that had the kind of gravitas. Yeah. Yeah, and like even in the video package they had the Terry Funk stuff from Japan, the barbed wire rope,
King of the Death match.
King of the Death match thing,
Which
actually
actually
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't really like that match. I'm gonna go on record and say that match isn't I think the video packages that contain scenes from that match, it's actually better than the actual match itself, which is kind of.
I mean, it's
hit or
difficult to
miss.
watch.
It is difficult to watch.
Very difficult to watch.
Okay, so they're on the outside here, and The Rock is talking to Mick Foley something fierce. Obviously, calling spots on the fly here. He sent him straight in. Oh, and that's why Mick Foley can't walk. Taking that spot into the steps. Awful. And The Rock with that horrible leg.
It wasn't awful. It looked class.
The leg thing?
the knees into it.
Oh, okay.
No,
we're talking about two different things here.
Not Rock Stomp as it was called in
It's SmackDown versus Raw.
SmackDown versus Raw. No, whenever Foley was sent into the ring steps,
Yeah.
and careening over like knee first, because like he made the point in his books, like because they always said, oh, why didn't you like turn?
Because it looks
and
fake.
take it in the back, and he said it looks fake. You're
Yeah.
not going to change your trajectory. You're going to go straight over it, and
Mick Foley
makes
pays
sense.
the price now.
yeah. I mean, ideally, what he should have done is
Mick has the chair. Oh,
way
off
to
the back.
is do what Barrett does.
Yeah.
If Barrett gets whipped in, he jumps over and then
Yeah.
kicks them back.
Yeah.
It's a sweet spot. Like, anyway, no, I think it looks cool.
So Mankind is trying to get The Rock to say quit, not happening. So they're hitting him with the mic. And what I like about this match, actually, the audio of it, you can hear every time they use the mic. It makes the audio bump.
thud.
But you do have Michael Cole on commentary. Bad Michael Cole. So, he's never really been good, but this is really bad
early
Michael
Cole was
when he had
quite
the
bad.
frosted hair and the weird goatee. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
No, but at least he has a
double arm
better look.
DDT. To the Rock.
One of my favorite DDTs next to Raven Effect.
Oh no, Future Shock.
The Future Shock DDT. It is fantastic. It's just something about the DDT.
Yeah,
It's made to be a finisher. It really is. Okay, so Mick Foley's going for Socko, which was introduced the year prior, replacing the Mandible Claw.
Rocco was the Rock Sock. Boom. That's perfect Latin.
I apologize to all our Italian fans because that's awful Italian. No, it's not. It's butchered Italian. Okay, so The Rock is passing out now
In the
He's
mandible
on the
claw.
mandible claw, and this really doesn't work. It doesn't bode well because how do you quit if you're passed out?
Earl Hebner's trying there.
He's trying to figure it out. Yeah. So Earl Hebner is the senior referee in this match, and he looks exactly the same as he does now. He just has the horrible I screwed Brett t-shirt,
T-shirt,
on
yeah,
underneath.
and less
And
and
the sunglasses.
and less money in the pocket. Like if WWE are struggling to pay their refs, like,
That's true. Imagine what TNA
TNA
are.
doing.
I can't wait till he gets released, and then we can interview him.
Earl Hebner.
Yeah, just ask him
He's
like what
mad.
happened.
I'd
That'd be
say his
fantastic.
Sweet Road stories. Yeah.
So Earl, if you're listening, we want you.
We want you.
Okay, so they're fighting into. So they're fighting into the crowd right now, and I never really liked this because they used to do it all the time. I liked it from time to time, but this match really takes place in the crowd. It's hard to follow because they didn't have the cameras at the time. And if you paid to see this, like,
Nasty spill.
would you guys be upset if most of it was in the crowd, if you're sitting up in the cheap seats, like you'd end up just watching the screen?
Well, I went to.
Okay,
Well, I was at.
They were on their feet a bit, so everyone's like, "Oh, what's happening?"
I suppose. But Gary, you're saying?
Yeah, I was at the SummerSlam with Triple H and Brock Lesnar, and a lot of that took place outside.
That spot actually is horrible. It's horrific.
No, it's
How
brilliant.
deaf both those guys actually must be after that, because the ring bell makes a severe
Yeah.
noise. It really does.
So sorry, and a lot of that match took place like outside,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of rest spots, so it was difficult to see from where we were positioned.
The great lie down they had.
the great lie down they had, yeah.
That's
So,
Okay, so here we go, rock bottom. And
Oh,
the table
breaks.
breaks. And the table breaks. And it is the Spanish announce table, which proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that table is gimmicked. Because
and cursed.
and cursed. But you remember how, like, in every show, every television show, I'm convinced in the house shows, if they had them, which they probably didn't, the Spanish announce table would just break. All the time in the Attitude Era. It was just bound to happen. It was part of the job. Okay, so The Rock is getting the water and he's going to spit it into Mick Foley's face. I hate The Rock.
Remember North Truth? He started drinking the water for a while. That was brilliant. Yeah.
That was something else. I
No.
actually went on a tangent there during the week and started looking up old promos from More Truth.
Brilliant.
And I was just thinking,
Turn him
man,
heel.
turn him heel and let him go
Turn
nuts.
him heel.
But now he's too busy getting jobbed out to Rusev.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mick Foley's following him up the what's that? The rampway? The entrance ramp? Oh, it's because it's not a ramp. It's
There's
just
no
a
ramp,
passageway.
just the entranceway.
Fun fact about this match.
Go for it.
Since Foley was the champion and he knew he was getting severely messed up at this match, he took his family to Disneyland the week before.
Yeah.
And had them sitting in the front row.
Yeah, that was the.
That was an oversight.
Which, you know what? I was listening to a podcast there, the Wrestling Observer newsletter podcast, and they were talking about Hard Justice 2010, where you tried to replicate this spot.
Yeah.
I was like, right, okay, you're a wrestler and you want your kids to see what you do. You take them to a fun match. A match where you're like, okay, grand, you're going to go
Zack
in.
Ryder.
Exactly, Zack Ryder match. Not where you're going to get absolutely battered and get your brain smashed in.
The chair shot record, I believe.
Well,
17.
chair shots,
Straight
which
on.
will come up.
Supposed to
And
be
we've got
3, I believe.
Yeah. And he said like he
Not great with numbers.
no,
No.
and like Foley was saying he got the concussion on the second one. So he said the other 15 were just what happened?
How much damage must have been done to his brain?
Well, he said he's going to donate it.
When he died.
That's
Yeah.
And look at it. There's a DDT. Rock's DDT is fantastic also.
Float over.
Yeah, I love the float DDT. Well, its acting isn't great. Let's put it that way. Oh, I went there.
Says the jabroni.
Okay, so Mick is still not saying I quit, and The Rock is just teeing off with kicks. And the thing about The Rock at this point, the flashy kicks and being a douchebag, it works because he was a heel and he was a great heel,
He was a great heel.
a fantastic heel, one of
Yeah.
the best heels I think in the business. And I did actually really like The Rock there. I like booing The Rock still, so I wish he had remained a heel.
You just smell the air. It's amazing.
Okay, so The Rock is going for a walk past the gorilla position, and he gets
I
the
remember
ladder.
this spot.
Yeah, this spot's
Yeah.
I remember having a wrestling magazine that my grandmother got me called Badass Dudes. And that's what it was called. And it was a wrestling fanzine in the UK. and it had an actual blow by blow of this match. I am deadly serious. I will find it.
You have to dig that out.
I will dig
Brilliant.
it. And it had like, you know, it went through a list of the most badass dudes. So like hard.
Your grandmother had it.
She gave it to me. It was like
That just meant that you went to your grandmother's.
no,
Said
no.
she had
No, but these were like wrestling.
This nudie magazine.
No.
Badass dude.
No. It was.
Since Grandpa O'Connor is gone, things have gotten lonely.
No, it was this. It was a fanzine basically, right? And it had like, you know, the most hardcore matches of the time.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. I will actually dig it out, but I had a blow by blow account of this match with the different spots. So yeah, it was a strange fanzine. If anybody remembers it, let me know, because it did exist. I
Are you
didn't make it
sure?
up.
Badass dudes aficionado out there. We want to hear from you.
That's
Yes.
true. That's true.
If
Also-
you wrote for
If you
Badass,
if you wrote for Badass Dudes or any other strange fanzine that was out at that time, let
Please.
me know.
please get in contact.
Please, because it was a strange thing from my childhood that I just remembered. Okay, right. So The Rock is setting up the ladder, up in the stands, which is strange.
The one thing I don't get about this spot was what was his.
Yeah,
actual
what was his end
intention?
goal? Yeah, like why is he climbing up the ladder?
To set up the spot into the electricity bin, obviously.
But you see, this gets back to what we were talking about in the Jericho and Benoit match, is that when you can see, like, you obviously know what's going to happen here.
Oh yeah, you can
Foley's
see it
gonna
a
go
million miles
straight off.
away. Like,
And sometimes that's the problem with these like crazy spots. Like, why would The Rock climb up? He had the upper hand. Like, he didn't need to.
But then he climbs up and he starts like backing away from him.
Yeah,
it's like, come on up. It's like, remember we went to that WCW show, the DCW show, and he would pass the mic over to the other guy.
yeah,
The same thing.
heel
Heels
in the face.
heels and faces just breaking kayfabe. So it is kind of kayfabe being broken here a little bit, but you know it works.
Oh,
low blow to Mick Foley.
Bad man.
Well, he is.
Bad
He's playing
Dude.
Bad.
badass dude. He's playing the ultimate heel, and I believe that's why it was in that issue.
Do you know, if by some just stretch of the imagination that someone from WWE Creative is listening to this and they have a new stable called the Badass Dudes,
It would be
it'd be
amazing.
amazing.
It would be
I'd
amazing.
love that.
Okay, oh,
Oh,
Mick Foley goes
Foley.
right into the most explosive electronic display I've ever actually witnessed.
And the lights in the arena go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, which happens because it's all connected to that. I believe they call it like the conductor or something like that, actually. But no way,
No way.
you had that there.
That is a planned spot.
It is.
there.
And how they have the spotlight, which Chris you referred to earlier.
Apart from the spotlight, that's conveniently on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know the camera feed and everything else. Just the house lights went out, which add mystique to this match, which didn't need it. I think they really
Mystique?
overbooked this. Mystique
From X-
from X-Men, yeah. Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
By the way, Days of Future Past. That's an alright movie. It's not great,
Bet
but
The
it's
Rock
okay.
is just
It's
randomly in the
mad.
match has just like mouthed, "You son of a bitch." It's like, "Come over here, you son of a bitch." Stomp the crap out of him.
I missed when they call each other sons of bitches.
Yeah, Austin was great for it.
Yeah.
And so was Jericho.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Shano. Shano Mac.
Shay.
Checking on Mick.
Here comes the money. Have to bring him back.
This
Oh,
did you-
one more run.
one more run with the European belt.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Man, I missed the European belt.
I don't.
Why? It was class.
No, it wasn't. It was awful.
Hey, it makes more sense than the US and Intercontinental belt.
Not in the Intercontinental. In the US.
No, well, in the
maybe.
same kind of
You'd have a
sphere.
slight case for the US. but not
Well,
for the
if the
Intercontinental.
US belt was the European title, and then you had the Intercontinental title, at least that would make some sense. That's
That'd
what I
be
mean.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
okay.
Having the two fused together, no way. Okay, so not much. See, this is a trend that we're noticing from Mick Foley matches when we go back and look at them as adults. So much time passes between spots because Mick Foley is, you know, and I hate to say this, he is. There is a case where he's just a glorified stuntman. Because
Ric Flair. You're channeling Ric Flair.
no, but think about it. Like,
You got a
There's
new
some-
suit jacket, and all of a sudden you think you're Ric Flair.
no, I love. Oh, let me finish. I love Mick Foley. Like, he is one of my favorite wrestlers. But a lot of these matches are stunt spots.
No, but like he can't like from a quote unquote realistic standpoint, like can't fall off a terrace and then like
get right back up. I know. That's what I mean. No, I agree. That's true.
Yes.
Who can sell ice to an Eskimo? And they were in the Arrowhead Pond, or the Igloo, which I think it's called now. So
Igloo, yeah.
there you go. Right, so this is where things really start getting nasty. Well, nastier than they were. Mick Foley is really on the receiving end of punishment, and this kind of begins the point in this match that I refer to as the punishment or the crucible of Mick Foley, because he really doesn't have any offense for a long time.
Well, pretty much to the end now.
You know, and again, guys, this man brought his small children and set them in the front row. So I would say, watch Beyond the Mat now after this, and it'll give you a bit more insight into that, but it doesn't get better for Mick Foley. It does not get better. And you can actually see his family right there if you in that
I don't think
shot right
he
there.
knew it was going to be
This bad. Yeah.
No, definitely not. But,
Heat of the moment, things get a bit special.
that's true. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets graphic
This-
right
yeah,
now. This
grisly.
is where the line is crossed. So Rock has the handcuffs, and he's tying Mick Foley's hands behind his back, which, if I saw my father getting handcuffed in the middle of a ring, I'd be kind of upset also. So I'm just like, the case for as bad as things got, I don't think flies so much because they had no idea of what they were doing. Do you think, guys? Or am I alone here?
Well, as Connor said earlier, he only planned to do
Three
chair
chair
shots, which ended up,
Been 7 in.
heading into
A few accounts back then, The Rock was a bit of a dick.
yes.
Yeah, he does seem
Yeah.
like one. Alright.
But I mean, these were two guys, much like say Rock and Austin always got the best out of each other, and say fast forward Cena and Punk always
True.
got the best out of each other.
And Benoit and Jericho.
Benoit and Jericho, like these guys did tend to get the best out of each other as
You know,
well.
I wasn't a huge fan of The Rock, and I'm still not. But I love his matches with Foley, and I love his matches with Triple H. I think they're, if you really want to bookend how WWE beat WCW,
Yeah, his matches with Austin.
his
are
match with Austin are on a different level. They speak higher than these. These are more just kind of nuts and bolts stuff. His matches with Austin are more kind of events. You know what I mean?
Wait, can I just point out?
Go for it.
You're not a big fan of The Rock,
No,
but you're a fan of his 3 biggest.
I'm not a fan of Cena either, though. But I like some Cena matches. It's the same thing. There's guys who I don't particularly like, but enjoy their work at times. Like Cena, I think, as Gar said, his matches with CM Punk, fantastic. His matches with Umaga, fantastic. Still not a fan of Cena. You can be a fan. You can be a fan of somebody's work and not the worker. All right, so
I just
Mick, and you're entitled to do so. Mick Foley is up and his hands are still tied behind his back.
He's got some colour from Rock was bouncing
Wailing.
his head off
The
off
ring post.
turnbuckle.
Okay, that was a terrible kick. So he's gone out to get the chair because he believes it's time now to really bring the pain. So here we go. Earl Hebner's just standing there going, this is not who you are, Rock. Oh, wait, that was John Cena, sorry. This bit is one of my favourite spots in the whole match. Rock is going for the people's elbow, or did he call it the corporate elbow?
Corporate elbow.
The corporate elbow at this time. He throws the elbow pad, runs the ropes, runs the second ropes, bang onto the chair, which was also in a video game as
Sweet
well.
spot,
I think
yeah.
it was in WWE Attitude,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of colour right now. I think it
Yeah.
was. I think it was, yeah, in the video package.
You could
Set
lay
up the chair.
on their head. And yeah.
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 It was impossible to do,
It was.
but you could do
The
it.
full
Yeah.
setup you had to do, like go through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which we did talk about on our video desk pilot, which you guys should check out. Okay, so The Rock is cutting a bit of a promo in the ring. Oh, here we go. Right, so let's do a count. So remember, guys, it's supposed to be 3. So let's see how long it takes to break the 3. 1.
Okay, that was pretty bad.
That was a
Yeah.
nasty unprotected
This
chair
is
shot.
this is the concussion one.
2. Okay, Mick Foley's concussed.
That was very blunt.
Completely unprotected. His hands are behind his back. You'll never see this again. And you know what? You probably
Thank
never should.
God.
Because this is inhuman. Right. Mick Foley.
Like,
Can't-
brushed off. They were flat and blunt. They were horrible.
Man, he can't get up. 3.
3.
There we go. That should have been it. 4. 5. Oh my God.
5 was
Wow. Oh, The chair is actually starting to show the imprint of a man's skull. Nasty.
That mask isn't protecting anything.
No. No, it's not.
What are we at? 5?
We're at 5.
Good.
Oh, man. 6. Oh, good lord. No, this is... you don't actually remember how bad this is until you sit down and watch it
At the time,
again.
it didn't seem bad because it was like
We didn't
it
know.
did seem like pretty out there, but like it didn't.
7.
You didn't appreciate
How much damage it's doing,
Yep.
yeah. Like, we were kids.
Like smoking. We all thought it was cool.
8.
Oh.
Now, I don't know how Foley's still, moving
Yeah.
at this point. Okay, so The Rock is cutting promos. And
Yeah. Letting Foley have a bit of a breather.
Oh, look at that blood, man. Yeah, he is. And he wasn't blading either.
No.
all
that
hard
was
way.
legit.
Is this 9?
Oh.
Here we go. He's just 9. He wouldn't even go for the back. They're all headshots.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he won't even hit the back. Just hit the back, Rock. Just
Get arrested.
Oh, 10. Back of the head, which is more dangerous than taking it from the front.
Oh.
What were you
So
saying?
far, 5 and 10
Have been the worst. 10 is the
That's it.
worst. 10 is the worst
worst.
because it's the back of the head, the soft part of the head. If you hit somebody in the back of the head, you're going to get disqualified in the taekwondo thing. So you're not even going to hit people in martial
Henry
arts.
looked legitimately pissed off there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's because it was a
didn't need to
dangerous
hit
shot.
him.
He did need a him in the back of the head. That's just not on. What were you saying, Connor? You get arrested?
Yeah, if you did that now, you get arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the ring.
Well, there is a point in time where you just, you got to call a spade, and that's not right. So, okay, remember, Mick Foley would never say I quit. That
Yes.
was the whole point in
That
this.
was the whole premise.
And we're coming to the end now where that is kind of tested.
Yes.
And they do kind of contrive a finish. But Mick Foley, I think, is passed out here right now.
Yeah.
Because he's not moving. And did the finish happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Finish happened.
Yeah, so Mick Foley's passed out here, right? And they played over the speakers, which was revealed later on.
Yeah. Shane, or he did an interview previously.
Prior to, which they played in the video package.
Yeah. He has like a little poem.
Yeah.
And it
He says,
finishes
I
it.
quit, I
Yeah.
quit, I quit. So when he
let's see.
put down there after the 10 chair shot,
I remember the poem. I will not say it here. I will not say it there. I will not say you twit. I will not say I quit.
Yeah.
That's
And that's what
the
they
little
clipped
bit
and
they
played.
sampled, and yes.
So-
Who'd remember that? That's stupid to like. I barely passed all my exams in school, but I remember.
Yeah, I remember that. But like basically,
I told you, they're creative writing.
His poetry was fantastic.
I can't remember any Robert Frost, but I got this lovely little poem by Mick Foley.
And who wrote that? Oh, Mick Foley.
Michael Foley.
Foley's baby boy.
Baby boy.
Have you never heard of him? He's one of the best poets going.
So basically, Mick still hasn't moved from this, and the WWE doctor, who we all know very well from the Hell in a Cell match,
Yes.
appeared, and I think like at this point, it kind of marks the decline for Mick, where he had stopped being such a heavily active competitor, and you got to think the Hell in a Cell match, this match, and then the final matches with The Rock, that had to finish him.
Yeah, I mean, and then
Oh,
fast
with
forward
Triple
even more
H.
the Triple H one.
But they weren't even as harsh as this. Like, there was one or
the
two
street
spots.
fight was pretty harsh. Yeah, the street fight was pretty harsh.
there wasn't 10 chair shots.
But I mean, that just goes to show. Like, we thought it was much more than 10.
Yeah,
I suppose the revisionists sort of stuff.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it's 10, but I mean, it might as well have been 20 the way he was leathering into.
like particularly as you said, Gar, 5 and 10,
5 and 10 were the bad
unbelievable.
ones, and as I say, he got the concussion on the second one.
So you got to think he probably doesn't even remember most
No,
of this match.
no.
Like in
Yeah,
his
he couldn't.
Even lying on the floor, he looked really rough.
yeah.
But there's
The Rock was on the cover of Badass Dudes.
He
but
was. He was.
speaking of magazines from this time period, I never had Badass Dudes, but remember WWF, or it was WWF at the time. it was like Raw had a magazine.
Yeah, that was actually a better magazine than WWE,
Yeah,
written
and-
by Russo.
Yeah, but I remember I got it, and the middle part was always like a poster,
A pullout, yeah.
a pull-out picture, but the picture was Foley from this match, and he's walking alongside the doctor, and the doctor has a tray, and the tray is like it was a black and white picture, and the tray is like there it is there.
Of the water, is it?
No, like they put his head over it, right, and it starts to fill up with blood.
Yeah, because it's ice water
It's
right now.
ice water right now.
I think that's Tilo, is it?
Yeah, that's Tilo, and play holla holla.
Holla holla.
And but it's it was like a backstage picture, and it was done in black and white, and just the tub was like filling up with blood, and like you could see the stream coming from Foley's head, and he just looked
There's ice in it. I think he's like putting on his head, so it's probably from his hand.
hand coming up, but it was. Like that was one picture, because I would have been like, what? This was 99. I would have been January 9. I would have been like 11, and like I wouldn't want, my brother who's like 9, who's like 11 and 2 years,
Looking at that.
watching a match like that, to have that visual of someone just
On your wall.
pumping blood.
Yeah. It really speaks to.
Yeah, we quite a violent upbringing.
We
We really did. You know, when you go back and watch this, which is what we all watched as kids, which is what our parents know of wrestling. Oh, I remember Stone Cold, all that kind of stuff. And you're like,
It was
so-
coolest thing.
but it was so
Yeah.
incredibly violent.
But like I was watching the Hell in a Cell match, which would have been the year previous to this.
The greatest lie ever told.
The greatest lie ever told. And like I remember saying to my mom, I was like, I watched the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Mankind, and she said, "Oh yeah, I remember sitting down watching that with you. That was great." I was like, a man nearly died. Like his injuries coming out from that was like the tooth obviously coming through the nose. He blew out his hip. He blew out his knee. He had a concussion.
But it was great.
But it was
Can I say though, right?
it was mother and son bonding.
It's not only that. It's like my grandmother would actually tape the wrestling shows for me too. She was awesome. She was actually the enabler. She's how I saw a lot of
She was a
WCW.
badass chick.
She was. She still is. She saw a lot of. She got me a lot of WCW, a lot of ECW, a lot of WWF. You know, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have watched wrestling. So it is what it is. But like,
She's a badass gal.
that's it. But to think about it, it's just like, how were we allowed to watch this stuff?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Like,
It's so violent. So violent. But
and
yeah,
then even
guys,
fast
crazy.
forward a few years, the HLA stuff.
Well, my dad still will call the HLA stuff. Chris, you've met my dad before, and he will bring it up from time to time. So when's the HLA going to happen? But
Hotline action.
book it.
That's as close as we'll get these days.
Yeah, it really is.
But here's the question, guys, and we'll throw this out on the round table. Do we want this again? And before we answer, a lot of people who don't watch wrestling now are like, "Oh, why isn't it violent? It's PG." It's just like, yeah, but these guys aren't going to die young because of it.
No, but you can still do it and not have it as grossly violent as that.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I think there is a place for colour.
Yeah, I agree. Colour's one thing, Gar, but not hard way colour.
True, but like imagine, the way like Daniel Bryan had been kept down for so long. Like imagine if H got colour in his match.
It would have
against
made
Daniel.
it so much
It would
better.
have pushed it up a little bit more. Now I'm not saying like
Or
remember.
even the Jericho Shawn Michaels feud.
Yeah.
But
it would've
I
been
watched that
perfect.
ladder match recently. No Mercy.
That's the best ladder match.
No, it is, Gar. It really is up there. Like, if not up there, it is.
But I mean,
best ladder
Jericho
match.
lost a tooth in that.
Yeah.
He got messed up,
the head clash. He has this like little chip.
but he
gone.
did punch a man's wife, so he did kind of deserve it.
Fair play to
Actually,
Rebecca for taking that.
Jericho talks about it on his podcast. He feels horrible about it. Both of those guys, actually, Sean and Jericho, felt terrible about it
Yeah,
because he wasn't. She was supposed to duck or
she was
take it a
supposed
little
to.
better,
Yeah,
and she
but
just
she
walked
moved
right
into
it. Yeah, and she just knocked herself out.
yeah, she moved into it. She was supposed to like turn so he'd like graze, and it would be off camera.
Yeah,
if that
so-
makes sense
so you
from where
wouldn't
the
see
shot
it.
was. But she turned the wrong way, and Jericho
Like
gone.
clogged her
And, like,
completely.
I
proper
have to rewatch that.
proper bean there
Yeah,
in
man.
the face.
I don't know. I feel really bad for laughing at that.
But no, it looked great.
It did.
That's who I am.
Chris is a badass dude. He's gonna be on the cover next month.
They should resurrect that magazine. It's great. I'm gonna find that. It is up there, guys. Google it. I'm not making it.
Do not Google badass dude.
No. Don't actually don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Save search filter on.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Fair enough.
Then
Do.
you'll probably just get sliced alone or. What's the other chap's name?
I imagine they were regulars in the magazine. So yeah.
No, it was all about wrestling.
All wrestling.
Yeah, all wrestling, and he had adverts for the Undertaker comic book and adverts for like replica title belts, and you get Sting merchandise.
To a whole other show here.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Whoa back.
Yeah, man, the 90s. The 90s
90s,
happened. The 90s, man. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. We will talk to you later. And sorry we couldn't do the anti-arena match, but
It's on the next list.
it is.
When